amazing year for him to be here because, like, earlier in the year, he accepted the Grammy for Best Album on behalf of, which he contributed to Daft Punk's Random Access Memories, and accepted it on stage with his brother Pharrell Williams. It only just occurred to me, how amazing that Swan later became the president of ASCAP. That only just occurred to me during the film. Mr. Paul Williams is here! Introducing Jessica Harper as Finley. There will be no assassination during this Q&A. Also we have here, well, I'll introduce, I can see him coming down. Let's be upstanding for an amazing, amazing performance. This is not drugs real, this is real. Gary Graham as Beat is here. Give it up for Gary Graham. And then also, Gary Graham, everybody. Also, I can see here Mr. Harold Oblong. Peter Eveling is here. The Juicy Fruits, the Underhead, and the Beatfront. But also, oh, here we go. And also, Jeffrey Commodore is there as well. And last but by no means least, I hope he knows he's coming down. The editor of the movie, Paul Hirsch, said, before Paul Hirsch comes down, I have to write down his credits because these are the Brian De Palma films that Paul Hirsch edited. Sisters, Phantom of the Paradise, Carrie, Obsession, The Fury, Blowout, Mission Impossible, Mission to Mars, Raising Cain, but then also a couple of little-known films, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Footloose, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Planes, Trains and Automobiles, Falling Down, Ray, Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, but perhaps most importantly, The Crate from Creepshow. Paul Hirsch, please join us on stage.
Out of the light, he comes for the light back.
Does everybody have a mic, I hope, or we'll pass them down? Well, let me start with...
where you want us to sit?
Yeah, this is good. I'll just go down. Well, let's start with Paul. Yeah, it occurred to me that you're the president of ASCAP, and Swan was not about artist rights.
Swan was not the best example of somebody, fair play was his version of fair play, or fair use was pretty unfair. So, the greatest honor I've ever been given is to actually, to be the opposite of who Swan is on the screen, but to stand up and find, somewhere right now while we're sitting here and we're talking about this wonderful experience, Brian De Palma's amazing work and Bill Finley's amazing performance. While we're doing this, there's some young lady writing the songs that, she's probably writing with the headphones on, so she doesn't wake the baby in the next room. And the fact is, she deserves to be able to have a life and make a living with her music just like I did. So that's my gig at ASCAP.
Well, before we go back in time, just to kind of keep it extremely current, because in February this year, you were on stage accepting on behalf of Daft Punk and Pharrell Williams. Now, I have a theory about Random Access Memories. I know that they are huge fans of Phantom of the Paradise, but your two songs for that album, Touch and Beyond, felt to me like missing songs from Phantom of the Paradise. Would that be correct?
The great thing about this whole experience, there are two relationships I have right now that are directly connected to Phantom of the Paradise. One is Random Access Memories that I was asked to do to write for the album and perform on the album. And at my age, to stand up there and accept an album for album of the year, this is so Swan, it's amazing. But it was spectacular, but it happened because those two brilliant Frenchmen were fans of Phantom of the Paradise. I'm currently working on a musical for a stage version of Pan's Labyrinth with Guillermo del Toro. That is, and he's brilliant. And the reason I even have a relationship with Guillermo is because of Phantom of the Paradise. So, don't write something off as a failure too quickly. In 1974, the world ignored Phantom of the Paradise. Today, thanks to you, thanks to the people who love Phantom of the Paradise, it's alive enough for people like Edgar Wright to know it and care for it. And someday maybe I'll get a job with him. You never know.
I'd like Paul, I'd like you to moderate the 40th anniversary of Scott Pilgrim in 2050. But also, I have to say, I take it as my one-man mission to prove to everybody that Phantom of the Paradise is a better film than the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I know it's an extremely partisan crowd for that opinion. Now let's go backwards, Paul. You had done a couple of movies before, like crucially The Loved One and The Chase, but then by the time you did Phantom of the Paradise, this is your first lead role, but you had by this point become an extremely successful songwriter and performer. So how did then, like Brian, come to you, at what stage in the process?
Brian went to A&M Records and said he wanted somebody to write the songs for this movie, Phantom of the Fillmore, and I don't know, to this day I'm not sure why he chose me, because my history, what I'd written for Three Dog Night and the Carpenters was so different from what I was going to be asked to write for Winslow and for the songs for this picture. I'm not sure why he chose me, but it's one of the greatest gifts I've ever been given because it allowed me to satirize the music that I loved. I loved the Beach Boys. I loved the sound of the 50s. I discovered the 50s in my late 20s. It was like, wow, And it was not drug use. That came later, I actually do know drug real from real. I'm 24 years sober, so I can prove it. But it was interesting because he asked me to write, and what I had that was the hidden treasure, and Colin Cameron that played bass and all this stuff is sitting in the audience. But what I had that was an absolute hidden treasure was an amazing band, an amazing road band that played on all my demos, played on the road with me. So these guys went into the studio with me, and we cut all that music, we cut all those tracks, and it was a comfort level and inventiveness that I got a lot of credit for that inventiveness of those arrangements and everything, it was Art Munson and Dave Garland and Colin and the guys that that played that were just spectacular.
One of the things that's amazing about this film is like Brian De Palma's screenplay. He co-wrote and wrote many of his other films, but he never really wrote anything like this ever again. And it's an amazing satire about the recording industry. So when you read it, were you how much of it kind of sort of felt true to you? Did you ever meet a real life Swan in your days?
I never met a real life Swan in my days. There were people who said that there was. Brian, I think, actually saw a little power thing or whatever going on in me that. When he offered Swan to me, I think it was sort of, there's a little, look, a Reader's Digest version of Phil Spector. I think that this whole experience with, the script changed so much. The major change was when Garrett did not die, when Beef did not die in the shower, because originally, Beef, that song at the end, The Hell of It, was written for the funeral scene for Beef, who was supposed to die initially in the shower. And when the adjustment was made to have him die on stage, I think we found the heart of the film. Because what I think the film is about is said in the one line on the stairs to Philbin. An assassination, coast to coast, live on television, that's entertainment. I think that's the heart of the picture, that we'd entered into a place with watching the footage from Vietnam every night while we have our TV dinners. We lost the place where news and entertainment began to bleed together in a fashion that, look at reality television these days. They're scripting it, I'm sure. It's gone the other way, but we've gotten to that place that was kind of frightening. What had become our entertainment, and I think that became a big part of the film.
And music itself, in terms of in terms of the musical acts in the film, especially in terms of Beef, you know, real music caught up with that pretty fast, you know, in terms of, it was kind of both ahead of its time, but then kind of like, in terms of Alice Cooper or kind of onstage acts like Ozzy Osbourne, you know, biting the head of the bat, real life caught up with this film pretty quickly.
You know, it's funny because there's so much that I kind of feel about music that I love, but that I hadn't really written. A really strange example of you know, just let things light where they're going to light, and somehow, you know, things will wind up where they're supposed to be. I wrote, the first thing I ever had recorded was recorded by Tiny Tim. I wrote a song with Biff Rose called Feel Your Heart that Tiny Tim recorded, and I was like, I don't want, that's not, I mean, I love Tiny Tim, but that's not what I want to write for him. I'm an edgy street guy, you know? I mean, like, you know, back leather and, you know, sort of edgy, that's me, streetwise, you know, it's a tough ball, you know? I want David Bowie to record my songs, not Tiny Tim. And years later on the Hunky Dory album, David Bowie recorded Fill Your Heart. It was the first outside song that he'd ever done. So there must be something inside me that is crying, kind of reaching to get out, that wants to be an edgy rock and roller, you know. Probably too old for it now, but I'm going to keep trying.
For some reason, even though you have so many amazing lines in this film, and like even just your first off-camera appearance and your first on-camera appearance are all amazing, and yet my favorite line in the film is you saying, filters. Now, let's go to introducing Jessica Harper. Now, Jessica, I have this theory.
It's like introducing is my first name.
I know. And you aged 23?
No, I was, let's see, that was 40 years ago, so I was 7.
I have this theory about you that you have only appeared in cult classics. Suspiria, Saints from Heaven, Love and Death, Stardust Memories, Shock Treatment, Safe. You have only appeared in cult classics. You have an amazing filmography.
My filmography, which consists of pretty consistently bombs. And
The well-loved bombs.
Like everything was a bomb that I ever was in, which I don't know, makes you think. But as a person, you think, I don't know. But on
Ladies
the other
and gentlemen, are
hand,
these films not classics?
well, that's the thing. They bombed, but then they got legs. They got a heartbeat. That's because of people like thanks for keeping my bombs alive.
Tell us about, this was your debut role, and what an amazing first role to get. Tell us about what you had been doing immediately before, how you met Brian, etc.
I was in New York doing theater. First I was in the cast of Hair. I guess this belies the thing about my being 7, because I was in the cast of Hair in 1969. Anyway, then I was doing some off-Broadway theater, and I did an off-Broadway show that got a lot of attention. And in New York, all those theater geeks, when there's a show that does well, everybody sees it, and everybody saw Brian saw it, or maybe his people saw it, I'm not sure. But anyway, the Woody Allen people, all the people who went on to make my bombs saw this movie, the show, and so I got this thrilling invitation to go and sing for Paul Williams, and I had to go to I think it was in New York, off to some office building in a room with Paul Williams, and I had to sing, I think it was,
Can I just tell just a brief addendum to this, because there's actually a reference to it in the film. When I walked up behind Jessica, and what I had everybody sing was, long ago, and oh so far away, I fell in a superstar. Beautiful song by Leon Russell. So I'm standing behind Jessica, and she's singing to herself, long ago, and oh so far away, and it was like, oh my God, yeah, that's perfect. And she came in to sing for Brian and I, and she belted it. She's an actress who was, was working Broadway right then, and she went, long ago, and I went, no, sing it, do you remember that?
no. I was only 7 at the time.
But she sang it then to herself, and it's your performance of Old Souls is one of the most treasured things in my life. Yeah.
Well, as I said to Paul, when we were sitting here, I said, thank you so much for that song, because it was such a gift, incredible gift, getting that song.
Jessica, it only occurred to me watching the film just now that both Phantoms of Paradise and Suspiria both climax with somebody being stabbed with a feather. What's that all about?
You know, I know, I don't see, I don't know why I get assigned these movies where people get stabbed. There's something I project. The thing in Suspiria, though, was I got to do the stabbing.
There you go. Now,
Which was cool.
now your husband was the president of production at Fox for many years, and I remember I had a general meeting with him once, and I was extremely impressed that he had a massive Phantom of the Paradise poster outside his door.
I was impressed by that, too. You know, he had the whole Fox archives. He could have picked any poster and put up the Phantom of the Paradise.
I mean, that is
That's why I love my husband.
There you go.
Well, one of the reasons.
I mean, it is an amazing thing, though, in terms of, like, as a first film, one of the things that is incredible about it is not only is this your first film and, like, it's what an amazing cult classic, but also, you know, one of the most amazing things about it is it's made by a major studio. You know, the 20th Century Fox logo at the start is something that's like, you know, movies, I don't think you would get a movie like this made by a major studio today, unless, you know, your ex-husband can, I'm sorry, your husband, sorry, can sort of name that. I'm sorry, I screwed that up.
Yes, so 20th Century Fox, and not only that, but I got the whole thing where I got, after I sang for Paul and Brian, it was like this, one of those movies from the 40s. I got flown out to Hollywood to do a screen test, staying at the Chateau Marmont, and I was up against Linda Ronstadt. Do you remember that I was up against Linda Ronstadt?
I don't remember that.
When I thought for sure that was going to be a no-brainer, that they wouldn't hire me because I was 7 and I stabbed people. Anyway, and then we went to Winslow and Frank's for dinner, and Marty Scorsese joined us, and the costume designer took me, this was, I thought, kind of a dead giveaway. The costume designer came to our dinner table at Winslow and Frank's and dragged me into the bathroom and